So how to defeat procrastination and achieve every aspiration. Procrastination is the act of delaying or putting off tasks until the last minute or past their deadline. It's not just a time management problem. There are other many important things to know about how to defeat procrastination. We're going to dive deep into this common challenge that a large portion of the population is challenged with it. We feel guilty about it and criticize ourselves for it, and yet we still do it. Why? The absence of good habits and systems. In other words, poor discipline. Poor discipline doesn't mean you're lazy. You could be active with a multitude of things. So how common is procrastination? Well, some people are better at motivating themselves to tackle unpleasant tasks. Procrastination is a highly prevalent problem. Among college students, for instance, I mentioned earlier, nearly all admitted to procrastinating sometimes, while 75% describe themselves as habitual procrastinators. No matter how well organized and committed you are, chances are you have found yourself fretting away hours on trivial pursuits, watching TV, scrolling through your Facebook feed, shopping online, whatever, when you should have been spending that time on work or school-related projects. Procrastination can have a major impact, we're talking about that consequence again, on your job, your grades, and your life. In most cases, procrastination is not a sign of a serious problem, though. It's a common tendency that most people resort to at some point. And here are some of the cognitive distortions that lead to academic procrastination. One of them is overestimate how much time they have left to perform tasks. We overestimate how much time we have left. Think we have a lot more than we do. Number two, we overestimate how motivated we will be in the future. Another one is underestimating how long certain activities will take to complete, so we don't allow ourselves enough time. Mistakenly assume that we need to be in the right frame of mind to work on a project. So a lot of people wait until they have the right frame of mind, and that's also procrastination because timelines don't go about our moods and serve them. So we have to serve the timeline rather than the timeline waiting on our mood. What kind of areas mentally are we dealing with emotions and other kinds of things that take place within our mind? Procrastination can be a result of depression. Feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and a lack of energy can make it difficult to start and finish the simplest of tasks. So, it's pretty common for people also with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. One reason is that OCD is often linked to a maladaptive perfectionism, which causes fears about making new mistakes, doubts about whether you're doing something correctly, and worrying over other aspects of you and what you're going to do. That OCD can cause you to delay because things just aren't going to work out perfectly. And that OCD wants to do things perfectly. Here's another mental aspect. So many adults with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, that's ADHD, struggle with procrastination. So when you're so distracted by outside stimuli as well as internal thoughts, it can be hard to get started on a task, especially if that task is difficult or not interesting to you. So procrastination, is it a mental illness? Procrastination itself is not in itself a mental illness. In some cases, it can be a characteristic of an underlying mental health condition such as depression, OCD, or ADD. So a lot of people have been wondering, could there be a relationship there? Yes, there is. And often you can find that you're having challenges because of those things. Now, excuses are often used for procrastination. We often come up with several excuses or rationales to justify our behavior. Okay, get rid of catastrophizing. I know it's a different word. Thinking about catastrophes, being worried, fearful. One of the biggest reasons people procrastinate is because they catastrophize or make a huge deal out of something. It may be related to how tough it is, how boring, how painful it is, or, if you're going to complete that task or not. Whatever the case, the underlying theme is that doing the task will be unbearable. We have to get rid of that and start seeing ourselves completing tasks and not catastrophizing. Number two, Focus on your why. Procrastinators focus more on short-term gains, avoiding the distress associated with the task, as opposed to long-term results, the stress of not doing it, as well as the consequences of avoiding the task. Instead of trying to focus on why you're doing this task, what are the benefits of completing it? And procrastination can also be associated with stress. Thinking of the stress you'll feel when you avoid making a phone call, or you need to make it. So keeping into perspective that you want to really put your goals before you of the benefits of doing that task. That's really motivating. And one of the things that we can do is we can put a calendar together. A calendar gives us a timescape that we can then put together for the landscape of where we're going, our goals, our vision, our dreams. We tend to get things done more quickly when they are scheduled to get done. I know my administrator puts together all my appointments, so every day I know what I'm going to be doing, who I'll be speaking with, how long I'll be speaking with them, what breaks I have. All of those things help me to be more on time, to be efficient, to be able to help more people. Get out your calendar, everyone. That's a big part of planning. And when you plan things, you tend to break procrastination habits of just letting things fly by. Next, be realistic. As you establish your schedule, set yourself up for success. Projects often take much more time than we expect. So bring in that extra time and put it in there in your schedule. That way you don't frustrate yourself. Look for ways to make it easier on yourself. For example, if you're not a morning person, don't expect yourself to get up in the morning really early. So, next principle, smaller pieces. When a task seems overbearing, procrastination often follows. So how often can you break that task into smaller pieces? Makes it easier to go forward when you're doing it chunk by chunk instead of one large major mountain. Next one, excuses. Get rid of the excuses. For instance, I need to be in the mood. I'll wait until I have the time. I'll work better under pressure. I need this or that before I can get started. These are all excuses. We want to make sure that we set aside the excuses. That way we can move toward our aspirations and not let things be stumbling blocks, right? We have to learn to just stop it and stop ourselves in the middle of talking about excuses, convincing ourselves all the reasons we shouldn't do it. These are excuses that just don't bring us forward expediently. Next one, get a partner. Establish specific deadlines for completing a test and find someone who will help you be accountable. As a principle of having accountability. Accountability will help you out of procrastination because now you have someone who's going to say, hey, you really got to get this done. I'm going to help you keep your goal here. Next one, optimize your environment. Your environment can help or hinder your productivity. Be aware that technology and other types of tools that you can use can help you to move ahead far more quickly. So try this during your scheduled block of time for working on a particular task. Close your email and turn off your phone, or at least set it up to do not disturb. And don't let yourself get on the web until you've completed the task. Hold off any unnecessary internet searches until the end. In other words, take some time for yourself. Make sure your environment helps you. Sometimes the technology can be set up to do its own thing while you're doing what you're supposed to do. Next one is reward good behavior. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but I want to emphasize it here. Establish a reward system for yourself. Set it up. Don't let yourself binge. Check your social media or get lunch until you complete what you've scheduled. So instead of using these tasks and distractions to procrastinate, make them contingent on you actually finishing what you're scheduled and what you have scheduled yourself to do. So in other words, give yourself some rewards along the way so that you have something to look forward to. Also, learn to forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up about the past. Take that time, put it aside, seek God. There's a great prayer that says, dedicate the work of your hands to God and He will establish it. In other words, take it off your shoulders, give it to God, and God will give you that peace. And I hope everyone's enjoyed these principles and you've been able to get some great ideas on how you can put off the excuses, the mindsets that aren't working for you, and adapt a brand new mindset to reach and achieve your aspirations. The Prophetic Matrix, Unlock the Secret Code to Your Destiny. My first book, that's on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And the second book, The Prophetic Matrix, this is the companion book. It's called Point of Contact. That's also on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. I hope you read them. I'm here at Oral Roberts University Global Learning Center and excited because we have partnered in the release of the Prophetic Matrix AI Avatar Certificate course, now online at ORU One Campus.